We've been in this eclipse doorway for quite a while now. Um, this particular eclipse we will not have again until 2031. I believe that is correct. Um, so it's rare, and we only get a couple of these a century. So this is a doorway of absolute, unimaginable dreams come true. If you can picture yourself standing in front of a doorway, an amazing doorway. And this doorway is energetic. And around this doorway are dominoes for miles and miles and miles. And those dominoes are starting to tip. And so this opening and closing, this eclipse is opening a doorway of absolute, unimaginable, endless possibilities. We must use our imagination, our childlike joy, and return to the bliss and the innocence we had as a child to use this to our absolute fullest, beneficial, magical effect. Now, my light is so bright. I'm trying to see who's here. Mary, I think. Renee. Hello, Mary. Hello, Renee. I'm assuming that was Renee, only because she's always the first one here. But you know the drill. The comments come and go as they please. One of these days, very soon, I'll have 1,000 subscriptions to this channel, and it won't take my public video and revert it then back to private, which is what's going on with all the tech stuff. It's not actually me this time. Oh, you're back. Kathy is here as well. Okay. Yeah, my light is so bright that I can't see it. Let me see if I can fix that. So we are in an incredible eclipse doorway. Now, the other day, I know you guys were feeling this because the 4 people that are on this, watching this video right now, you guys were all texting me at the exact same time. I was actually driving home from my dad's because he invited me over on a gorgeous, gorgeous day to ride a bike. And when I got there, there was a shovel and we started moving plants around. And I told him, thanks for inviting me over, Dad. This was an absolutely amazing bike ride, which we never had. So this eclipse energy has been here 30 days prior to the eclipse that was the 19th and 20th all over this planet, depending where you were. And this energy will continue on this planet for the next approximately 30 days. I don't know that it's an exact science. So we have 60 days of this incredible energetic doorway where these dominoes are tipping in this energy. And that means you can use this creative power in any way that you see fit. I do want to address a couple of things from my last video. I was very shocked to hear some of you say that what I talked about in the last video was the most shocking or astounding information that I've ever spoke about. Now, I find that interesting because I've talked about David Wilcock being a clone. I've talked about the Matrix being run from Saturn. I've talked about, to be exact, 119 videos, so 119 different sort of off-the-rail topics. So I was very surprised that many of you thought that that last video was the most outlandish reporting on the news that didn't make the news that I've ever done. And I did say in that video, but I will reiterate, that I'm not saying if you resonate with your person being on another planet or in a ship or in the center of Earth, that you that your person is an octopus or a squirrel or some kind of 9-headed beings. Now, we know there are all different kinds of sentient life forms in this universe everywhere present. However, the human being choosing these soul contracts has chosen it with another human being. And there are millions of races out there that look extremely similar to us. Um, and most of them you probably would not notice. But I will say, um, if you remember yourself having blue or purple skin, or you're obsessed with blue or purple, and there are beings with blue and purple skin, so that may be that may be. And I've had blue skin in several lifetimes, and actually, I made a video about this. But my recollection of Atlantis, I had light blue skin, and I looked almost identical to the way I look now, but I had light blue skin. And the reason I'm saying that to you is these are human beings, other human beings you have contracts with, okay? And this life on this planet, the sentient life on this planet is some of it. I mean, think about octopuses and seahorses and some of the things we have. So don't tell me you can get any weirder than what's in the bottom of our actual own ocean. And I think three-fourths of that has not ever even been discovered, or admittedly been discovered. So I was, that kind of gave me a little bit of a giggle that some people thought that was pretty outlandish for me, because I thought that was one of the less outlandish and maybe calmer videos than I've done, certainly in the last several months, for sure. So we are here today to not talk about the outlandish. Today is going to be a little bit on the normal side for me. Okay, so we have a 60-day eclipse door window. As I said, our imagination is absolutely pertinent. Now, we all have a great imagination. We don't seem to have a problem with that. Usually where our problem, our restriction, or our repression comes in the fact that we are, and I know most of you are over 50, and most of you are between 50 and 75. Um, so by that point, we've had so many multitudes of life experiences. And so sometimes when we are offered a new relationship, or offered a new job, or offered any kind of really exciting new endeavor, our brain goes back to the things within the file of the brain that have happened to us in the past. Okay. So this ecliptic doorway, it is not only pertinent to use your absolute unending imagination, it's hyper important that you live from the stance that nothing has ever happened to you to discourage you. Okay, because we are our own hindrance when it comes to new relationships, new jobs, relocating, changing careers, whatever it is. We are always our own hindrance, and that is because of things that have happened to us in the past. This is a doorway of absolute, unlimited possibility. Now, we are unlimited quantum beings dancing in this connection with the quantum field that is unlimited on a daily basis. But there are certain things, certain things that happen cosmically that give us more of a push. Okay. And if you have placements in your chart, specifically Libra, Aries, Capricorn, and Cancer, you may want to look into this, or meditate, or feel into it, because those particular 4 signs will feel this more than anyone else will feel it. So, unlimited possibilities within this doorway, 60 days. So, we have 30 some days of this left. Okay. So Spirit is asking you, do you remember what it was like to be a child? Do you remember what it was like to be open, to be loving, to be vulnerable, to be trusting, to believe that anything was possible? Because what happens is we build up these experiences in our brain, and we hold some of these experiences at a cellular level. And when we get hurt or disappointed or things don't work, we tend to then view everything else from that viewpoint, from that point of observation that I've been hurt before, I've been let down before, I've been disappointed before, and certainly we all have, as adults, we have certainly all had all of those things. And this is not to downplay those things. This is just to really say to you to just go back and maybe put yourself in a meditative state or take a walk, whatever it is for you. For me, it's walking. When I try to meditate in bed, I just end up napping. Meditation turns into a nap for me. So remember back to what it was like to be a child, to be open, to be loving, to be trusting, to be transparent, to believe and feel in your heart and every speck of your existence that anything was possible. Because when we get at energetic points where it's a lot easier for us to manifest or create things, we don't want the brain getting in the way saying, okay, but I loved before and that didn't work out. Or I relocated before and that didn't work out. Or I tried to switch careers. I ended one mission to start another beautiful endeavor and that didn't work out. So in this ecliptic doorway, we are being asked to go back to the frequency of what it was like to be a child when we really knew in our heart that anything and everything was possible within us. Because when we know that anything is possible within us, that creates this energy within our field that pulls in everything that which is possible. We are always, always, always interacting with the quantum field. Okay. So the quantum field is what I refer to as God. And that God source, meaning that every positive, negative, neutral thing that you ever put out there is shining back or raining back or filtering back into your life, into your energetic field. So if you can remember and just go back to that space of love and trust and anything is possible, so that when it comes time for creation or manifestation within this next 30 days, that you are not waylaying yourself or that your own brain is not actually getting in the way of you creating and manifesting what it is you came here to do this. Love like you have never been hurt. Dream like you've never been disappointed. Move like you are an athlete, even if you are not one. And movement right now is imperative. When I talk to people, whenever we have these big energetic occurrences, I get messages from the same couple of handfuls of people, okay? And I can always tell the people that are moving the body from the people that are not moving their body. Okay, I get some really heavy messages sometimes. And shout out to Rachel Cathy because she messaged me and it said, "We." And I said, "Oh, I totally agree with you." But on the day it happened, I wasn't on the phone. I wasn't on the computer really much at all. I was outside in my dad's garden, in my dad's yard with bare feet, shoveling, transplanting plants, and putting as many of those plants as he would give me in the back of my Honda Civic. So I was very in touch with the soil, the air, the sun, all of those elements. And when you put yourself in the position to be up close and personal and upfront with the air and the water and the dirt and the sun, those four elements pull in that fifth element of ether. Okay. And that is an understanding or a wisdom when you're outside doing something like that. That wisdom pours down through in every cell of your body. And most likely when you're doing it, the download doesn't show up right then and there. It's more like almost like a meditative feeling. but later, it definitely comes back out. Now, when we have these incredibly strong cosmic events, we don't, we get like a download or an upgrade or sometimes a remembering or a reenactment at a cellular level of something that may make us tired or feel blissed out or whatever. So, what it is that we're receiving doesn't usually come right there in the moment and the instant. You can feel that it's happening and kind of it comes back out later. Um, it's so important for us to love like we've never been hurt and dream like we've never been disappointed and move with ease and grace and know that we are on the path that we came here to be on and that we are a beautiful light being in this human body and move that human body. How anybody is dealing with these things without moving their body right now, I cannot even imagine. And when I looked at the amount of people that were messaging me that were really having a difficult time in the last couple of days, and I thought, have I been having a difficult time? Not really. Um, things come to my mind, but I don't dwell on those things because right now I'm doing 45 minutes of yoga and qigong, and then I'm doing about 45 minutes of nonstop hula hooping, and then I'm going to work outside, landscaping or gardening, and then going out and walking or jogging even after that. So that's why I'm able to process at an exponential rate. And I'm not saying that I don't, think about things that triggers don't come up, that kind of stuff. Anybody that knows me personally or um, knows that that's not true, that I definitely experience that. But I'm able to move through it with ease and grace because I'm so used to using my body and doing something that it moves the body in the center of the body, the center of our centrifugal force around the waistline. That's why I've chosen hula hoop. I also love the rowing machine, but currently don't have one. I don't have any more space for anything because plants are currently um, taking over my life and my house. Plants and rocks. So there's that. But yeah, it's really any way that you can tell yourself to get back to that space of remembering what it was like to be, to feel unlimited, like you could do anything when you were, when you were a kid. Now, I had some incredible parents. My parents never said no to us. So my parents had 5 children, but they had 3 girls, and we were all just about a year apart, right? So they really had their hands full. They would have, but they let us do anything. And so, to give you an example of that, and this is one of the big reasons why I am the way I am today, and this is the way I raised my son as well. Um, we told my parents that we were going to take like some of my dad's leftover wood and my mom's material and all these things, and we were going to go out and we were going to make a hotel in the backyard, right? We were going to rent this hotel. My parents did not say no. They never said no. They said no if we were going to hurt someone or, you know, something. But as far as creating things, as far as making things with our hands, they never said no to us. And so we went out and built this, supposed quote unquote hotel hotel in our backyard, which obviously no one ever came in. But we stayed in it the very first night and we had a lightning storm. But when we said we're going to build a hotel and have guests in our backyard, my parents were like, here's the wood you can have, here's the tools you can use. My mom said, here's the fabric you can have, here's the shovel, whatever, go at it. And that stayed with me, absolutely stayed with me for life. Because when it came to creating things or when it came to using the imagination, they never ever said no. Me and my sisters and my neighbors used to get together and write plays and perform plays in our dance studio and all kinds of things. That was imperative. Now, I am not going to tell you that I had some My parents never squashed the creativity. Were there issues? Oh, hell yeah. Everybody on the first wave of ascension had major, major, major childhood things, major relationship disturbances, major family disturbances, all of it. Okay. But the thing about that is, when we go back to that, we just go back to the loving, vulnerable openness of what it was to be like a child. Okay. So someone could come up to me and say, I'm going to offer you a job. And I'm going to think, okay, well, the last time someone offered me a job, it ended up being really, really crappy. I only worked there 4 weeks. I worked there 2 weeks and gave 2 weeks notice, that kind of stuff. You're going to do that, right? We have that reptilian brain. We have that reptilian memory. So our brain is always going to go back to that file of what happened the last time I had that same offer or that similar offer. That's just how the human brain works. So we're never going to get ourselves completely out of it. But when I go into that mode of saying, well, geez, last time someone offered me a job, it was not good, right? I love the job, but so many things didn't work out. I can go back to that space, or I can say, I don't need that memory. This is a new job. This is a new endeavor. And we always have to be asking the right questions. Now, the majority, as I said, of you are over 50 like me. So when it comes to being asked out on a date or thinking about getting in a relationship with someone, even if someone's nice, our brain sometimes goes, oh, so that's the thing you do, to be nice, to woo women, whatever. We got to get out of that. Okay. We got to get out of that because so many of you, and this question's been coming up so much in the last couple weeks, are over 55 or even almost 70 years old. And they're asking me, am I going to meet someone? Am I going to, because this energy, this divine feminine energy that we're carrying around doesn't want less than Empress energy. In return, what we're giving out is what we want to come back, and it's absolutely available for everyone. But the thing is, you have to not remember the ex-husband or the last person that did you wrong. You have to go back and say, what was it like in 8th grade when someone asked me out for the first time? So whatever it is for you that conjures up that feeling of childhood bliss, childhood openness, childhood trust, and childhood love, whatever takes you to that space. When these new things come up, because this doorway is all about incredible new opportunity, and it's all opportunity, and the opportunities that are coming in are the contracts, but we don't want to scare the contracts and the unlimited possibility away by comparing, our last job or our last crappy relationship or the person we just got divorced from. Okay, whatever it is, we came here to create and manifest this beautiful new pathway so that the rest of humanity in spaces and in sections could follow along. And sometimes I think being on the first wave is easier because if I look at the world, maybe if I was later down in the waves, I think, wow, this absolutely is biblical apocalyptic times and nothing is clear. So in that respect, I feel lucky to be on the first wave, but I feel like I'm always really, really pushing it, you know, um, how to really be authentic when you can see and feel and hear things the way I do. It's a hard call sometimes, right? You don't want to ostracize people or cut people out of your lives because they don't have the same understanding. But a lot of you are saying to me, when it comes to switching careers, when it comes to getting in alignment with that divine feminine energy of choosing mission, of choosing a partner that is the absolute, balanced component of yourselves, we're made so that we are the complement to each other. Okay, so you guys all know about my tech skills. So my person is the complete opposite of me, but almost identical. I don't know how to explain that. Okay, so this person has mad tech skills and whatever. But the thing is that whatever he has, he brings that out in me, and whatever he has within, I bring that out in him. We are the perfect complement. And those of you that are not currently in a relationship or partnership want that equality. You want that equality and reciprocity, but even more than that, you want somebody that's on the same frequency as you, okay? Because when you get someone that's on that same frequency, it's not about me teaching you something or me teaching him something or me being a teacher. It's about the learning. So, in this kind of relationship, like I'm going to spark you to be the best person. I'm going to spark you to be your most authentic, highest version of yourself. And you're going to do that to me. So, maybe on Monday, I'm the teacher. And on Tuesday, you're the teacher. Um, but it just keeps going back and forth and back and forth because that's what this connection that we signed up for is. It's an infinite it's an infinite flow of two people that can create, co-create, and manifest together using their exact opposite skills while having the same vision about each other and the future. So never lose sight of that. And it's available. It's out there for everyone. Now, lots of you, like me, just have to leave the house to meet people. I'm really bad at that. Um, I would have to either meet someone at the grocery store or they would have to chase me. They would have to chase me down the road while I'm running. Um, so I know um, we've been kind of bad about that. Getting out and not wanting to share and not being all inclusive because we have a knowledge, a wisdom, an ancient wisdom of what we came here to do and what divine union or divine partnership really looks like. Okay, I don't need um, nobody needs just someone that finds them attractive or thinks they're funny. Of course those things are important, but it's so important to be able to motivate's not the right word, inspire someone else to be the greatest version. When you inspire someone to be the greatest versions of themselves, they in turn send it right back to you and inspire you to be the greatest version of yourself. Now, we cannot create and co create and manifest the things um, that change our lives and change this planet if we're not in a partnership that has that kind of reciprocity and equality and divine loving connection. Okay? And on that note, I will say, um, I wear you around me and in me like 1,000 diamonds. I wear you. You make me shine. You add shine, you add brilliance. You're so incredibly brilliant. I wear your love like 1,000 diamonds. Something I have tried to many times say to my brother over the last course of probably the last 9 years. Everybody has a different version of beauty. Everybody has a different version of perfection. Everybody has a different version of joy. Everybody has a different version of everything. And everybody sees everything very differently. Okay. You may be around people at school, at work, and your family um, that see you, that see that you are that diamond, that you wear that cloak of diamonds, and that you shine. Okay. But there are people that won't take to you, that are not attracted to you, um, that are not a compliment to you. And those people may see you as a semi precious stone. And some people may not care for you at all. Those people may see you as a rock or as a stone or as a pebble. Okay? Everybody sees us differently, and it doesn't matter what you look like or what your personality is like or anything else. Surround yourself and be in partnerships with the person that sees you for the diamond that you are, you know? Again, some people will see you as semi precious, some people will see you as a rock or a pebble, but there's no need to be in a partnership with someone that sees you that way when there is someone out there that will see you for the diamond you are. I wear your love like a cloak of diamonds. I do. I do. This doorway of energy is incredible. It has me incredibly calm right now. I'm never this calm when I make videos. So, this energy, this divinity, okay? All of us, divine masculine, divine feminine, internal and external, be with those that see you as a diamond. This energy is very strong. Um, It's very, very, it's life changing, guys. Life changing. My life has changed so dramatically, and just since Monday, it's unbelievable. And there's so much more to come. I'm so incredibly excited, but I gotta tell you a little bit of me is very nervous because the things that are coming are the things that I've waited for my whole life. Okay? So again, it's so important to open up and love and trust and believe like you did when you're a child. Whatever you need to say to yourself to get you into that energy of anything is possible. If I'm open and honest and loving and trusting, say that to yourself right now, especially for the next 30 days. There's going to be all kinds of amazing things that are coming to you, that are being offered to you. Okay? There's a mass awakening on this planet. You're all very aware of that. These ecliptic energies send those mass awakenings into overdrive. Okay, we had one on the 19th or 20th, depending on where you lived. We have another one on May 5th, so they're like 2 weeks apart. And then we've got two in October. Okay, so this for a lot of you is going to connect significantly with things that happened last October in your life. That doorway is open. Those invitations are ready. Those dominoes are absolutely beautifully and synchronistically ready to fall into absolute alignment with you. But you have to love like you've never been hurt, and you have to dream like you've never been disappointed. Go back to your innocent, childlike joy and bliss and openness and say, I can do this. I can love infinitely, abundantly. I can create infinitely and abundantly. I can live infinitely and abundantly without the fear of repetition when it comes to the patterns, behaviors, relationships, and all the stuff that we carry in a cellular level about disappointment, sadness, grief, and sorrow. Just take a couple deep breaths. Tell yourself, maybe visualize yourself standing in front of this doorway and being offered whatever it is that you want to be offered. I know without a doubt it's coming for me. It's coming for you. It's coming for all of us. All we have to do is just go back and return. Our current path, the winding road of ascension that we're on right now, is open, expressive, and unstoppable. So go back on your path to your childhood when you were open, expressive, and unstoppable. And just feel that energy and know that the file in your brain is never, ever going to go away. You can't out trick it. You can't outthink it. You can't out logic. You can't logically outdo your brain or stop those repetitive thoughts or stop those files. The human brain is nothing but a computer that keeps files on the things that have happened to you from the past. Okay? So when those things come up, you can even gently remind yourself, my beautiful brain is a file that holds images and feelings and emotions from the past. But I don't have to use that or allow that to manifest and create the new things in my life. There's something that I have been going through for the past 18 months, and many of you that I've spoken to personally and also in readings are experiencing the same thing. We know we have an open doorway. We know that we are in communion with God, with Source, with the unlimited possibility of the quantum field. And we know that. But what happens is, every once in a while, we feel like, I can't do this anymore. I can't wait for this anymore. Or this is not going to happen. Or I'm angry that this isn't happening. Or I'm disappointed. I'm hurt that it's not happening. Let's not pretend just because we're on this path of ascension, this winding road back to bliss that brings in bliss, that we don't ever hurt, that we don't ever cry, that we're not sad, that we're not disappointed. We're all of those things, okay? We still have every human emotionality running through our blood, running through the veins, running through the cells of our body. Because I'm going through this for the last 18 months, and so many of you are, there's something I want to say that I think is so important about this. When you have that day of saying, this is never going to happen, this is a lie, whatever it is for you, is pretty much kind of this repetitive loop that says, how much longer, what's going on, why has this thing not manifested? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm the wounded warrior. I'm over it. Okay. Now, I've been doing this for 18 months. Okay. Not often, but when I do it, here's what happens. So I say to myself, oh, this is never going to happen. How long has this been going on? 18 months. What in physical reality is showing me that there's any truth to this? Nothing. How do I feel about this? Disappointed? Does that feel good? Nope. And I go through this and I keep doing it. And you guys keep doing it as well. Like I said, I'm not doing it often, right? But I'm doing it. And so when I say to myself, how much longer? Is this true? Am I delusional? Am I making stuff up? Is this really going to happen? All of that stuff. What I discovered just in the last 2 weeks is, when this happens, if I say to myself, you know what? Once a month or a couple times a year, you're going to get into this thought, this mental space where you're just like, okay, how much longer? I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I give up. When you get into that space, what's happening is then people are starting to get angry with themselves or take it out on themselves. Like, oh, I thought that I was doing better than this. I thought that I had expanded past this hurt. I thought I had expanded past this disappointment, this whatever it is that's not working, that's not come to fruition, that hasn't completely manifested. What I noticed in the last 2 weeks is this. If you just say to yourself when this comes up, this is just going to happen once a month. This is just going to happen every once in a while. Today's my day, and it's happening. And when I did that, it was gone. So what the leeway or the infinite space that I gave myself in my disappointment, my sadness, my illusion or disillusionment, however you want to look at that, was if I was hard on myself about it and say, wow, I thought I was past feeling this way about this situation or about anything. I thought I moved past it. I thought I expanded consciously past this disappointment, this grief, this sadness, this whatever. When I did that, when I said that, and this is happening for you as well, when I told myself I'm just going to have a day like this occasionally, it was gone. Now, prior to that, when I felt all those emotions and had all those thoughts, I let myself go down the rabbit hole. So when it came up that this pipe dream was never going to happen, I told myself all the things in physical reality that were not pointing in the direction that my intuition was telling me, right? So when I allowed myself to say, this is just my once in a while moment, this is my once a month thing or once a quarter thing or however you want to look at that, I stopped instantly. I didn't go down that rabbit hole. I didn't say, well, how long have I been seeing this fantasy that's not come to reality? Or how long have I been deluding myself? None of that. Simply said, today I'm having a shit day with feeling like this thing is not an illusion. And when I said that, I didn't go down the rabbit hole. So what that does is when that pops up, am I delusional? Right? And I don't go all down those old rabbit holes because I could spend 40 minutes or an hour telling myself about the things in 3D that didn't come to fruition that I've seen and I've heard and I've felt, right? But when I just said to myself, you know what? Today's just the day, let it go. I didn't go down any of those rabbit holes. I didn't say, well, let's look back and see if it's an illusion or a delusion or an absolute fantasy. I didn't do that. So that's my suggestion. And whatever it is for you and that occasionally pops up that pulls you from this divine, balanced energy down to a lower frequency of self-doubt, to say, you know what? Today's a low energy day. Today is the day of self-doubt for me. And it will end right there, and you'll be done with it. Like I said, as opposed to spending an hour or however long you spend going down the rabbit hole to look in the third dimension at what supports your dream manifestation, fantasy, whatever it is, right? So just allow yourself to have that bad day or allow yourself to have that low energy day. I've been talking about this for a really long time, but I'm going to mention it again because I still see people with struggling the lack to understand what we're perceiving as depression or suppression or um, a loss of high frequency. Every single time there is the eclipse, ecliptic energy will do it. Okay, solar energy, you got a raised, really high KP index. You've got solar flares. The more intense the energy and the more things you have going on simultaneously, the more that high energy comes in right above you, right to your field. And when it comes in, it's like woo woo, rainbows, unicorns, and hearts, and I love everybody, right? But that cosmic energy, it affects at a cellular level. So it's coming into the center of your body, right? This is why it's so important to drink water. I'll say it in every video for the rest of my life. It comes into the center of your body. Drinking water delivers the code, the download, the upgrade, the ancient wisdom to the other places in the body where it's supposed to be. So every time this cosmic energy comes in, it filters in and you feel good. Wow, I feel good again. This is amazing. Rainbows and unicorns and love and fairy tales, right? Everything's going to be beautiful and perfect, right? And it is. But the high frequency coming in from the sun, from eclipses, from universal solar energies, any of the omniversal central sun, any of those high frequency things come into the body, okay, and they dissipate. Okay, you can, hopefully I don't get censored. This is the second time I've used a drug comparison. But when you do a drug, right, and depending on what kind of drug you do, you're high, you have that euphoria or whatever for a short amount of time, but it doesn't stay. But the thing is, when the drug wears off, oh, well, the drug just wore off, it's gone. But you have to start looking at this instead of like you're doing something wrong or you're not processing or you're not in the on the path or the energetic space you're supposed to be, because you absolutely freaking are. You have to look at this like solar energy comes in, it's really amped up, it's rainbows, it's unicorns, it's fairy tales, it's whatever your thing is, okay? Unicorns are my thing. And yeah, so when that comes in, it also has to exit. It doesn't stay in there all the time. When it exits, it feels like or mimics depression, right? It's like compression, or compression feels like depression. So know that every time these massive catalytic things, ecliptic energies, solar flares, raising the KP index, all of this stuff, okay? All of this amazing, amazing, amazing shifting is bringing us this incredible, euphoric, high vibe, but it can't stay at a cellular level in that. So it'll start to dissipate, just like a buzz will start to dissipate, right? So it has nothing to do with you not doing anything right or not processing something right or whatever. It's just the energy is it's a high frequency, and so wherever you go in your personal field, when the energy is really high, that's where you go. It starts to dissipate, and then we feel like, oh, why am I sad, or am I repressed or depressed or whatever? Or you're not. It's the energy moving through your body, so we have to think about it that way, or like compare it to drugs or something, or whatever you need to do, whatever that you need to do to help yourself, okay? um, when I realized that this energy comes in as this very blissed out, dynamic, rainbow like peaceful energy, and then dissipates, and then feels like, oh, I'm so low now, I must be depressed. But you're not depressed. Um, you are energetically so sensitive to these energies that you can feel it come in, you feel it dissipate in your body, and then you feel it completely leave. Okay. So, like I said, we don't hold on to the high frequency of what it is when it initially comes in, right? It doesn't stay that way. So just don't think that you're doing anything wrong, or, you know, that you're not processing or whatever. Every time that energy comes in, it's super high vibe, but it has to exit. It can't stay. Energy is always in constant motion. Our body, um, our energetic field is always in a constant state of vibration. There is nothing on this planet that is physical. I'm just a bunch of little vibrational specks of light existence in this avatar. So when it comes in, you're going to feel incredible. When it starts to dissipate, you're going to feel tired. You're going to, and maybe not everyone like feels depressed, but for me, it was a big catalyst to say, "Wow, this is how it feels when it comes in, and then as it dissipates, I feel a lower energy. I feel sleepier, and sometimes even like a heavier food is needed, grains or something, so you can ground." But it's so important. That's why I wanted to bring that up, even though I brought that up several times, because people were like, "Why do I feel so good?" And then the next day I feel like crap. Um, yeah. And the other thing is, our body cannot right now. So all these cosmic events are assisting us in raising our frequency, right? So if that frequency that came in initially that got you thinking rainbows and unicorns was to stay in your body 24/7, it would be hard to do laundry or drive your kids to school, or take your grandkids to the park. Whatever these things you're doing, they're coming in faster and harder and longer durations of time, so that the body can get used to it. Okay, we are getting used to this. This is pre-event energy. We have been having energetic event spikes since 2019. They're getting stronger and stronger, so that you can learn how to speak to yourself, how to take care of yourself, how to move your body, how to drink water for that delivery system, okay? And when you feel like things are not going your way, the best way to talk to yourself is like a child as well. Now, I learned this the hard way. I would say I picked on myself for decades and decades and decades, okay? Decades I picked on myself. I never liked the way I look. I never liked the way I look, ever. And then I remember in 2014 looking in the mirror and saying a very long string of very negative things to myself. And this was bizarre because in my bathroom I had like there were two mirrors, like one facing me and then like a sideways one. They used to do that in women's like bathrooms for some reason. But I stopped and actually cried. And I thought, wow, because I was living with my son and my brother's four kids at the time. And what snapped for me was, would I ever talk to my own child that way? Would I talk to my brother's kids that way? Would I talk to any child that way? Would I even talk to anyone's pet that way? No. Why would I talk to myself in a way that I wouldn't even, if I wouldn't, if and how I feel about that and how I do that now, what I say to myself now, I don't talk to myself like that was the last 2014 looking in that mirror and crying and saying, wow, you are wounding yourself, talking down to yourself. And I just told, would I do that to a child? Would I do that to an animal? No. Then why would I do that to myself? And I never, ever did it again. Okay. What we say to ourselves is very important. And that goes back to that winding pathway to childhood, to trust, to love, to being open, to being vulnerable. Your new experiences are not going to be your old experiences. It's time to manifest. It's time to co create. It's time to create with all these beautiful other people on the planet that have the same vision for their life and their planet as we do. Okay? This is a great awakening. You know that. Your intuition is telling you a million different things. You know that too. You may be doing tarot readings. You may be watching tarot readings. You may be, reading self help books, whatever you're doing. No matter how much work and how much of the inner work, you're still going to have that bad day. And when you do, just allow yourself and say, this is my low energy day. Because, like I said, when you do that, you will not go down the rabbit hole for any amount of time whatsoever. Right. So for me, like, because I have like 5 placements in Scorpio, it's like I can be the judge, the jury, the lawyer. I can be the whole courtroom for myself, right? So it's like, oh, you had this dream or this fantasy or this vision, and then look at the things that don't line up in 3D reality. We can't do that to ourselves, because it puts a block in that creation, that manifestation, and that co-creating with everyone else that wants a beautiful life, right? There are people who want sustainable, beautiful, healthy planet. There are people who want beautiful, healthy relationships. There are people that want to create beautiful, healthy places to work that are sustainable, that are good for the environment. This is an incredible doorway we have now for the next 30 days to get in that energy and just pretend like you're an open as a child and love like you've never been hurt and live like you've never been disappointed. Okay? I love you. All of my friends, I love you. I wear your love like 1,000 diamonds. You shine on me so bright. Until next time, thank you for being here.